Hydraulic dredges can be found all across Louisiana's coast. These large floating machines have been used to rebuild land, from Cocodrie to Grand Isle to Venice to Slidell. Yes, dredging has rebuilt a good bit of Louisiana's coast. But a problem with dredges is that they tend to pose a non-trivial navigational risk, especially to novice boaters who don't have years of experience fishing across Louisiana's coast and have not negotiated underwater dredge pipes. Well, it's time to put an end to that. This guide reveals how these dredges work, the risk they pose to boaters, how to safely navigate around them, as well as additional navigational resources. And we begin with, how do hydraulic dredges work? Dredges come in a variety of forms, but the one in question here is the kind that looks like a small or medium-sized building floating on a barge. A suction pipe extends down into the water where dirt is sucked up through the pump located on the barge and is delivered through a much longer pipe running to the dirt's destination on land, where there are usually excavators to spread the resulting spoil. It's almost always this dredge pipe or discharge line that is the navigational risk to boaters. This could be because the pipe isn't fully sunk on the seafloor, or because boaters run over the part they're supposed to avoid. It doesn't really matter whose fault it is. If an accident happens at all, then that's just awful, especially if kids are in the boat. All it takes is a weekend joyrider looking at his phone and then bang! His lower unit is now resting on the seafloor.
It's a bummer, dude, what can I say?
Hopefully the only other thing hurt besides the boat is his pride, and hopefully has sea tow on the way to lend a hand. So what could he have done different to avoid becoming a marine assistance commercial? Well, anywhere you come across a dredge operation, you will see a string of buoys marking the dredge pipe like what you see in this video. Sometimes these buoys are floating the pipe. Other times they may be independent of the pipe. Either way, stay away from these buoys and you'll avoid the dredge pipe. Easy peasy. But what if you don't see any buoys? Now that you have an idea as to how these dredge operations work, the very first thing you can do is make the safe assumption that the dredge pipe is somewhere between the dredge and land. Not in the atmosphere, not drilling to the center of the earth, but in the water somewhere between the dredge and land. It's not drifting amok and unmarked somewhere else. After that, look harder, because the buoys are definitely there. In all the dredge operations that I've seen across Louisiana's coast, not once were these pipes not marked. The easiest way to avoid hitting dredge pipes. Slow down and look. There you go, that's your cheat code. Now, here is a question for you. What's the hurry? Is someone in your boat bleeding to death? Well, you'll get to the emergency room a lot faster if your lower unit doesn't land on a crab in 20 foot of water. So my advice is to slow down, come off plane, well ahead of where the discharge line may be. Idle cautiously, stand up, then look for it. If you have sonar, especially side imaging sonar, then look for it to confirm it's on the bottom, like what you see in this picture. What you see here is a discharge line sunk on the seafloor in about 6 foot of water near the beach of Grand Isle. And on this particular fishing trip, I put a waypoint over where it's safe to cross and used it later that day. But what if there's buoys marking a safe channel? If you have to ask that, then your answer is slow down anyway. Again, what's the hurry to rip off your lower unit, or worse? Bad things can happen, and I wouldn't leave that to chance if there's a single iota of doubt in my mind. Or consider this alternative. Just go around the thing. Then you can Dude, you almost nailed that. Just go around the thing. By now, you have an accurate mental picture of how dredge discharge lines are oriented in the water. If you're not certain, or if the dredge operation is experiencing some kind of sorcery, you can easily avoid the headache altogether by simply going around the entire thing. It's not like you have to paddle your bay boat there. All you have to do is run an extra minute or two and bask in the assurance that you're doing the safest thing possible. How to know where dredges are operating on Louisiana's coast. The Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority is responsible for a good chunk of the dredging you can encounter across Louisiana's wetlands. They've accomplished a lot, have a lot going on, and plan on doing a lot more. All of it is detailed inside their 2023 Coastal Master Plan, which you will find linked up below. More navigational resources that you want to prevent accidents that happen to most fishermen. While avoiding marked navigational hazards is relatively easy, what's not easy is avoiding the unmarked ones. If you could discover safe routes for your boat while avoiding the underwater hazards, then you're free to fish anywhere on Louisiana's coast. This is a critical skill because some places are riskier than others. For example, how do you know if a white PVC pole is marking a channel or something dangerous? This and more is what I teach inside the Advanced Inshore Navigation module of Inshore Fishing 101, and what members of LAFB Elite community share with each other inside our exclusive forum. These features are only available to members of LAFB Elite. Interested to learn more? This video details the benefits of joining. You can use code YT30 to save 30% when you do. Tight lines, and thank you for watching.